So there was something on the news last night and about Lucy, and I don't know if I know you mentioned you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Right. On yesterday's CTV News broadcast, they did a story, and what they were talking about was the growing international interest in Lucy's plight. It was disappointing to see, however, that they left so much out of that story that would have been very helpful for the public to know. For example, to me, when I think of international interest in Lucy's situation, right away I think of the fact that the city was sent a letter by Dr. Joyce Poole. She's of Elephant Voices and is the world's foremost expert on elephants. This woman is a PhD in elephant behavior from Cambridge University and has spent decades with hands-on experience with elephant populations. You know, she's the expert of experts, and this woman is endorsing the move of Lucy from this zoo to Paws or Tennessee. And I thought that is a critical piece of information. It's really unfortunate that was not mentioned in that story.
Like what kind of things was she saying specifically about Lucy?
She was talking about the same issues that we've brought up time and time again, that this climate is not suitable for her, her housing is unsuitable, her needs can't be met here. She has suffered her whole life in this zoo. She's given this city, you know, the bulk of her entire life, really. She's suffering from medical conditions, and in a nutshell, she hasn't got much longer to live if she stays in these conditions, which is really what it comes down to, which is really why she needs to be moved.
You know, one thing that I still have a hard time wrapping my head around is this Valley Zoo argument that they make, which seems to contradict itself. Like in one breath they'll say, she's happy, she's healthy, she loves us, this is her home, this is where she needs to be. And then in the next breath, when they see, you know, the sanctuaries where she could go to and how much better it would be for her, they say, no, she's too sick to move, she'll die en route, which seems to conflict, you know. Is she sick or is she not sick? I don't know.
Exactly, that's something that we cannot get over is, and it was even said in that news story yesterday, she's happy. Well, you know, they want you to just take your word that she's happy. Well, no, she's not happy. She cannot be happy. When you take a look at her veterinary records, that is not a happy animal. She's unwell. How can she be happy when a very highly social animal who depends on interaction with its own species, who lives in a tight-knit family from birth to death, is kept alone, contrary to the Alberta government zoo regulations, contrary to the guidelines of the Canadian Association of Zoos and Aquariums. They seem to just overlook this again and again. You know.
Why do you think the Valley Zoo is so intent on keeping Lucy where she is?
I can only guess that it's one of a couple things. I think I can't help but think ego has to be playing a role. Pride, ego. We're not going to let some activists tell us what to do, even though it's the right thing. The other thing is it money? You know, are they thinking that they'll lose attendance by doing the right thing and giving this elephant a proper life? I disagree, and I think a lot of people disagree. Because if you go online and you start looking into some forums where people are discussing these kinds of issues, you see that this is not looking good for this zoo whatsoever. You know, even people that are not opposed to zoos in and of themselves are looking at this situation and seeing how the Valley Zoo can't meet Lucy's needs, and they're saying that is not a good zoo. That's a substandard zoo. It doesn't look good for the Valley Zoo. It doesn't look good for the city of Edmonton. So I don't see how they think money should come into it. It shouldn't come into it.
What do you think is going on with City Council? Because they seem to have their heels dug in as well about this Lucy issue. What is it that the politicians are objecting to with the possibility of moving Lucy?
To date, it seems that they just seem to take any attempts that activists have made to contact them and open discussion on the issue. They seem to just run to the zoo administration right away. take their little spiel and then close it down from there. No, Lucy's too sick to move, but at the same time she's happy. There you go. You have that, that dichotomy there going on. She's happy, but she's sick. Which way is it? Which way is it today? If we want people to think she should stay here, we say she's happy, but at the same time, she's too sick. Well, how can she be happy and sick at the same time? But we see the City Council, who should be taking a proactive role, should be playing a leadership role here, should be looking at the facts, looking at all the evidence, which is heaped in favor of Lucy getting out of here. Instead, they're just going to the zoo, and the zoo is saying, no, she's fine. We've got experts. She's fine. She's got to stay here. And they're just leaving it at that. So far, that's what it seems to be happening. I think what's a very important point is the zoo keeps touting these experts. Well, we've got experts, and we're not going to listen to activists because we've got experts. Well, you know what? There's a lot of activists who are experts who are saying Lucy has got to be moved. Dr. Joyce Poole. There was a fantastic report submitted to the city by Edmonton's own Dr. Debbie Zimmerman. She's a veterinarian. She has a degree in biology with a specialization in zoology. She also has experience in treating wildlife, veterinary issues. This woman has experience. She's a well-respected member of the business community in this very city. She did a fantastic report. You read that cover to cover, it gives you irrefutable evidence as to why Lucy has to go. Yet, to date, as I understand that they've ignored it and have not even offered her the opportunity to meet with them and discuss the matter.
Well, this is the other thing that I wanted to ask you about. It sounds very unfair that the zoo is saying things like, well, these experts have not had experience with Lucy, they have not examined Lucy, and we're not hearing anything new from these activists. I've heard this several times, Dean Treckle and Denise Prefontaine both saying this, and yet they are the gatekeepers. Mm-hmm. They are the ones that decide who gets in to look at Lucy, and there you go. I mean, this is a reason why the city plays such an important role. It's a city-owned zoo. They have the ability to say to the zoo, you have to let an independent expert in to evaluate Lucy, and they're not stepping up and doing this. I had a question, but I'm not sure what the question was.
You've made some very good points there. One is, they are the gatekeepers, and whenever they speak to the media, of course, they don't mention any of this input from these extremely reputable people. It also needs to be known that the Valley Zoo was offered a team of the most experienced elephant veterinarians on the planet, and they turned it down flat. Why? Even before any implication was made in association with that offer that it would lead to her being moved, the offer was made simply let her be assessed. Obviously, if she's too ill to be moved, then how she is being treated currently is not adequate. It's not doing the job. So let's get some people in who can offer a fresh perspective, who can maybe more adequately deal with these veterinary issues. Even if that didn't lead to her being moved, at least it would lead to a higher quality of life for Lucy right now. Why did they turn that down? That to me is such a red flag. Why? If you care about Lucy, which they say again and again, we love Lucy, oh, we care for her so well, well, then you would be jumping at the chance to have that offer at no cost for experts to come look at her and offer some perspectives on her treatment. Why?